I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by. The setting is right. We have camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two, and you, the most important part of this, you. Camera
me.
something.
Camera 3 me.
I was trying to say something in Italian, like persona non grata, but camera no. Anyway, you, the most important part of this. And you were just saying how cute it is. We didn't plan this, but we're both. It's casual night on Harleys and
Hairspray,
where we are quite casual, but only in terms of fashion, not in terms of topics.
Yeah, no, we go all in.
All in. I need to talk to you about something.
Yeah, I do. It's a big time. Tell me. It's been a while.
It's been a while. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat. Welcome back. I was visiting my son in his undisclosed location.
Mm-mm-mm.
And he is in a film program.
Okay.
And he played me a 1.5-minute teaser of a project, of a documentary he was working on.
Okay.
And this thing was bombastic. Mm-hmm. It was impactful, and it was noisy, and it was vigorous, and it was abrasive. Mm-hmm. And I felt it. I didn't understand his impulse.
Okay. But could you feel his impulse?
But I could feel the energy.
Okay.
I could feel the energy. Which immediately made me think about the following question. Mm-hmm. If on a continuum of 1 through 10, 10 being something you impactfully adore, and 1 being something you significantly despise in the art paradigm.
Okay.
1 to 10. Would you rather have a slew of 4, 5s, and 6s, or a slew of 1s and 10s, knowing that those are your only 2 options, knowing that in the 1 and 10 genre, you may be confronted with many 1s, those things that affect you, but not in a great way. Which of those 2 would you take? You only have those 2 choices.
You're asking me, do I want 1s and 10s, or do I want middles?
So in the middles, you'll be more frequently satisfied, or maybe should I say pacified?
But I understand your question, right? That's what you're asking me?
Yes. Okay. So are you an undulator, let's say 4, 5, 6, or are you a burster, 1s and 10s?
Please do not ever serve me a 4, 5, or 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Ever.
Yes, ma'am. I felt exactly the same way. What is it about art that makes it irrelevant if it's not impactful? If it's in the middle and watered down, but it's still art, why does it not move us? Why should we not revere it? What do you think?
Can I give you my really bitchy answer?
You need to.
Didn't that come up in our last?
No, we were talking about the song "I'm a Bitch, I'm a Lover," right? The Married to the Brooks.
It was like, what are you risking this fall? And I said, being a bitch.
That's right. I think this is the thread. We're picking up where we left off. But yeah, tell me about your 1s and 10s.
Because the 4, 5s, or more importantly, why I don't undulate with 4, 5, and 6s. Yes. Here's my bitchy answer. Because I don't think it's art.
Oh, tell me more.
Here's my guess, and of course, I could be wrong. Of course I could be wrong, but oh my God, my bitchy voice was, but I don't think so. Because here's the thing about a 1 and a 10. A 1 and a 10, or whatever, 8, 9, 10, they are all in.
All in.
They're all in.
All in.
And so you can be all in and miss the mark. But you are so all in, you almost can't see it, which brings it to a 1 or a 2 or something. If you're all in and you hit the mark, or at least hit a mark, you're going to be 8, 9, 10. If you are not all in, in my opinion, if you're a 4, 5, or 6, you're super conscious about the audience watching you, and you're no longer out on the edge. And I make no mistake, though, my work, my specialty really in the work that I do around story, it is about delivering stuff that is public ready. It is for public consumption.
Yes.
It's not about whether the public likes it or doesn't like it, but it is very aware that it is going to be for the public. We ain't journal writing, right? But so that's what I think. It ain't art. I guess what I'm saying is it's art if you're out on the skinny branches and you're all in, and it ain't art if you're serving a TV dinner.
And I also love that the nature of your response is a 1 or a 10. It's not a 4, 5, 6. Your belief, your conviction, and your delivery thereof is a 1 and a 10. So you practice what you preach. And okay, so hold on. So let's bring in this other notion of efficacy.
Okay.
I don't know, I have this hidden agenda, ladies and gentlemen, the viewership, of bringing in words that I'm hoping you go and look up. Because this is not only an art podcast, but it's also about elevating our insouciance.
Oh, our
So you can go look that up.
That's gorgeous.
But the word of the day today for me is efficacy. And efficacy,
Okay.
you don't even know, I'll save you the trip to the dictionary. Efficacy is, weren't we talking about the prosaic and in another episode, which I love, bathing in the prosaic? I hope you guys looked that up. Poetic or the prosaic. But efficacy, by definition, is the ability to produce a desired result. You're welcome, viewership. Stay at the screens. Don't go to the dictionary. So this idea of efficacy really intrigues me because if you're an artist, which of you sets out to produce mediocre? That's not, of course we have the ability to produce that. Sometimes we produce it, many times we produce it unintentionally, but nobody intentionally, with a sense of premeditation, says, I have the ability and desire to produce mediocre. No. Our whole notion is we need to be bombastic, we need to be effective, we need to be impactful. And you can hate it or you can love it. But I'm going all in, right? That's why I think if you reflect on some of your favorite, when I reflect on my favorite musical artists, I think of those that stand apart. That they're not in the crowd. And I remember growing up in the big hair 80s where you had Warrant and Dawkins, so those were good bands. But then you had 300 bands just like that at B and C level on the totem pole. And then of course you had at the top, you had Journey and Van Halen and some of the, the yacht rock. But there was so much mediocre that only the exceptional through their work stood out. And I think it's so important to reflect on whether you're living your life with intent, and are your results on a daily basis mediocre or extreme? And extreme obviously can cover both sides of that continuum. Do you ever take inventory of your sense of efficacy and whether you are an extreme liver?
Come on.
Inhabitant of the planet, liver. And I also have a nice rib cage. Or whether you're a more pedantic daily.
Do I take stock of
human.
that? No, I don't have to, because everyone around me does. Like, honestly, since I was a kid, I've been told, all the different versions of finish the sentence. You're too this, too much, too loud, too emotional, too whatever, spinny. I was spinny in high school. I was all that, too distracted, too whatever.
But it's all you're gregarious and all of the good stuff.
Right. And so now, it's funny. I always say this thing in a workshop that I lead too, that there's something that happens at 7 years old. Up until 7 years old, your to statement is not a to statement. You burst into the room like, oh my gosh, I love you. You're so funny. I love you. You're so entertaining. Oh my gosh, your kid is so intense. Your kid is so angry. Your kid is so artistic, whatever. But then you hit 7, something happens between 6 and 7. And I don't know if it's about the playground, but all of a sudden that thing that was loud becomes, the expression becomes, now you're too loud. Now you're too intense. Now you're too much. But somehow before that, it's welcomed, it's celebrated. And something happens. And I blame the schoolyard. I blame
the classroom.
Yeah.
Because I think you come in after kindergarten and you're a creative spirit, and then grade 1 is your gestation period in the classroom. And you realize how to navigate that and conduct yourself. By grade 2, that period is over because the teacher needs to maintain control. And you are squashed into this tiny little rubric of behavior
Yeah.
and objectives and
Yeah.
expectations. And then we follow along for the next 10
Yes.
years until finally in grade 12 you break out because you've just had enough of the system.
Yes.
So maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think
7.
so. And it's interesting. Like it happens right around that time. And when I bring that up in the workshop, you can see everybody in the room have their own reflection of, oh God, I remember that.
What's for you been the anti-7? So at 7 you were 2, so you went burp, burp, and then at some point in your life you must have been the Jack in the Box where you popped out of the box and said, enough of this, I'm now the anti-7, I'm breaking out. It's a prison break.
That's great. I think I was a bit of a late bloomer, and maybe not, but maybe other people wouldn't describe me that way, but I do. I think about my 20s as being trying to be in relationship with my bigness, trying to protect people from it or find the right rooms where it was invited, but still only to a level where, almost honestly, where it was like not a 5 or a 6, but like kind of in the 7 range. So it's like just bumping up against it, but never too far. And then and then I hit something though. The beginning of landing in my yes actually started around 28 or 29, pre-children. I just started, which is why I think after I've finished raising my children, I've actually gone back to that and to finish what I started. 28, 29. I often say to people, if you want to solve a problem, sit on your kitchen counter and drink coffee like you would at 28.
Yeah.
Did we do that? I mean, I did. Sat on the kitchen counter drinking coffee and solved the world problems.
Do you realize that between your age and 28, this is not about exposing your age. It's the fact that it's a 17 and a 7.
Oh.
So you've had a 7, a 7
gosh.
and it's a 24,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
which to me is a 17 and a 7.
Yeah.
So you've had a 7 and a 7 and then a perfect, perfect 10.
They're divisible by 7s.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting loop. I frequently joke to my kids, and they will testify to this because the joke has a ton of truth in it. I can make anything into 17. So I hope I'm not making this analogy into 17 because I was born on the 17th. My mom, my dad, my dog were all born on the 17th. So I pride myself on being a trickster and being able to manipulate any situation into 17.
Okay.
But I'm looking at you, and it's very clearly a 24, and you're reliving those cycles of 7 and then some, which are quite holy numbers, of course. I mean, biblically, if you think about the 7 and the story of the 7, and our own cycles, frequently you will hear studies that for teens, for young adults, the hardest age is 14. Especially for girls, and so that's 2 7s, and then of course 21 is you're maybe finishing university, you're coming into your own, you're becoming free. At 28, you're becoming a philosopher on the kitchen island drinking coffee.
That's exactly it.
And there's all of this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So there's a pattern to what's
going
on.
And there is something about every 7 years, your whole body generates all new cells, right?
You're a brand new human.
You're a brand new human every 7 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Huh. Is it the 7-year itch? I can't remember. Was that a thing? The 7-year itch?
In a marriage.
In a marriage.
So hold on. So next year, I will be the 8th new human of myself.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
I'll be the 8th new human next year.
I get to meet you again for the
You're
first time.
You're going to meet me and we're going to celebrate. I'm at the tail end of my 7th human, but my 8th is going to be a party. I guarantee.
Oh, I love that. It's your 8th birthday.
It's wow. Hello. Now I feel like my puppy. That's right.
It.
My 8th new human. That's really, really interesting. So you're going back. You said you're going back to finish what you started when you were 28, 29. What did you start? What are you going back to finish, you little troublemaker?
Yeah, little troublemaker. At 28, I had done so many things. I was immersed in filmmaking.
Yes.
I had written and performed a one-woman musical.
Oh.
Yeah. What was I thinking? And that was great. It's
No,
fine.
but you've recently come back to singing. So
Yeah, I've
that's a
come back
clear
to,
sign.
yeah.
Oh, that's magical.
And so it's art. It's coming back to art. It's coming back to yeah, storytelling in all the ways. I didn't know at 28 that I am like a triple threat storyteller, right? Like whatever you throw at me, I can sing it, I can speak it, I can perform it, I can host it. Like whatever it is, I love to tell stories.
Within a month of meeting Tina, purely accidentally while waiting for a boat, um, she shared with me her one-woman play called Oh My God. In this thing, I was traumatized by, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I was shaken to my core by the breadth and the depth and it was just a tour de force.
Yeah.
It was a one person tour de force in so many ways. And I thought, oh, this is a really, really special, candid human, filterless human, which is, it's interesting to me that the one woman performance experience has been in your lineage for quite a while. I didn't realize that it happened that early on for you.
Yeah, well, and I think that this might be another episode, but there are the artists that we are. As we're growing up, we think the art has to live in whatever form that we've experienced, right? So for me, it was I'm an actor, but I didn't know that there are other modalities for the skill set or what's been entrusted to me. Because I always think there's a difference. A skill set is something you earn. Your talent or what has been entrusted to you isn't a skill. It's breathing for you. You do have an assignment to like live into what has been entrusted to you.
You have an assignment.
Yeah, you have an assignment.
You have, oh my, I've been assigned. I didn't even ask for this. I've been assigned something by the music of the spheres, whatever that is.
Yes, it is your assignment, and to take it all the way to your next 10 and your next 10 and your next 10, because you're going to ring a bell of 10 in some way, but you've got another 7 years to go. So what's your next bell of that? What's your next 10 of your assignment?
I feel such a weight of responsibility now that you've brought up my assignment.
Oh,
but I'm fine with it because I can handle it. But
you actually like that, though. You quite like to dig into, like living into, right? Like that gift of life. I
chase it. I hunger for it. I'm insatiable, and I don't see it as a burden. I see it as an assignment that I'm only too happy to do on behalf of anybody that wants me to do it, or Mother Nature that assigned it to me. I'm very happy. It makes me feel a sense of emancipation because I know what my path is. So thank you for the assignment because you've just cleared up my roadmap. My GPS is flawless. So it's not a burden to me. It's not a weight. It's a joie de vivre. It's a way of being.
Yes.
It's the raison d'être. There's a lot of French insouciance. Go
you
back. I'm in a
love
French
word. It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
And you're the wordsmith here.
I know, but you just pull like words out of your head like there's a galaxy of them.
I pull them out of not necessarily my head.
Yeah, he does. Okay.
Yeah, I like the galaxy.
Yeah, you do.
It is definitely nebulous up there. Nebulae.
Sometimes.
I really want to know what you've been doing, but perhaps we should wrap up this little bite-sized piece for the viewership. And you guys can visit us in the next episode of Casual Harleys.
Yeah, and Hairspray.
Of course, where we will explore Tina's latest adventures. And there are many because the troublemaker is not just a troublemaker by term or by... what is the thing they put on but the door plate?
Yes,
Tina,
by title.
Yeah. Tina, troublemaker. Yeah. No. She's a troublemaker for real in life. So we really want to say see you later, but come back immediately so we can explore what you've been up to.
All right, cool.
All right, homies. Talk soon.
time. You'll be my regular stop.